No,
See,
no.
this is supposed to be an interview of you and your dark secrets. What's the worst thing you've ever done?
The worst thing I've ever done was to forget what I'm supposed to be about. Every time, I have an amazing ability to repeat mistakes.
Been there.
An amazing ability. And I just started looking into myself more about this. You know, and in this way, I'm very shy about this stuff, but everything that happens in life, there's very little that you control, right? Most things happen to you, not by you. But with everything that happens, you have an absolute ability to control what it means and how to react to it. And that is really easy to say and really hard to do. And what I did when I got shit canned, and I gotta be honest, I didn't handle it well. I really didn't.
But can I just ask, because you're explaining how you keep repeating the same mistakes, which is a very frustrating and very human phenomenon. But do you think you got fired for mistakes that you made?
Yes.
Really?
And I'll tell you why. Because did I do what they say I did? No, I never lied. I didn't go after my brother's accusers. And you could say, why not? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? His party has rules. And the rule is an allegation is enough. And you don't really go after the accuser if they are believed, okay? That's what he signed up for, okay?
You're talking about the Democratic Party.
That's right. That's what he signed up for. One allegation is enough. He had more than one, okay? So that's the rule. And that was my conversation with him. I never went after his accusers. I didn't work the media. I didn't call up and say, I wouldn't have called you, that's for sure. But I didn't call people up and say, do me a favor, we're friends, be nice to my brother. And here's how we know that has to be true, okay? You don't think that if I had called somebody up and asked for a favor, they'd be raising their hand right now and saying, he called me. You don't think that they would immediately announce it? Of course they would.
I would have been fine if you'd done that because it's your brother, but that's just
But I'm saying the media would say, no, this is unethical, blah, blah. I didn't do what they say. But I foolishly believed, and this was a mistake, that my bosses, the media, the people who I thought knew me, would allow this uncomfortable balance to be respected and seen for what it was. And because look, is it a conflict? Of course it's a conflict. Unless your boss says it's okay, which obviously he did, right? Because obviously there was no secret about me talking to my brother and listening to some of his meetings with his staff. And it was a mistake for me to think that that would be respected and treated fairly. I should have never thought that way. I should have seen it for the way I would now. If someone came to me and said, do you think that this is going to be a problem? I'd be like, fine. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. As soon as they find out about this.
But can I just ask you,
and it was a mistake.
The only part that rings a little false is when you said, to my ear, that would have been unethical. And so you're someone who's been in the media your whole life at high levels, ABC News, Fox News, CNN. Probably
News Nation.
News Nation and News Nation now. But you know, because you've lived in that world, that ethics in the media are lower than they are among prostitutes. I think.
First of all, you got to live your own standard, right?
Okay, fair.
You got to live your own standard. And I believe in the media. I believe in it. I think it's, if not, I don't want to say the most, but it's definitely one of the main signatures of our democracy. And you know from your travels.
I couldn't agree more.
And there's no question that's in peril.
So you're saying, to be clear, you believe in the idea of...
I believe in the idea.
Yeah.
And do people practice it that way? Not enough. Everything is imperfect. Everything that is human controlled is imperfect and easily corrupted. Some people do it very well, certainly better than I do. Some people suck and are mean and try to do things just for advantage, and it works really well because we reward the wrong things. Negativity is allowed to be a proxy for insight. Taking you down does lift me up.
Yes.
And people don't want to hear good things about Tucker Carlson. They want to hear bad things about Tucker Carlson. If I were to do a profile of you that was making a fair case for all the success you've had, it would get dismissed as a puff piece and I would be seen as a dupe. If I were to say falsely but with just a little bit of proof that even regular people who aren't in our business would be like, God, the proof is kind of thin on this, that Tucker Carlson loves to kick puppies, they would say, that's a hard-hitting piece of journalism right there. Because negativity is the proxy for insight. So that's our business. So they were with that mindset. I made it too easy for them to come after me for my situation. And I should have seen it, but more importantly, my real mistake was allowing my family to absorb that blow as if it were just about me and my brother, and it wasn't. And it's really hard to have something that goes so wrong in your life where you come out of it like, I don't even know what I would do differently. There's no world where I don't help my brother. There's no world where I don't help my family, where I don't help my friends.
Good.
That's all I am. But what I did to my family, what I did to my kids, I hate myself for it. And all I can do is to try to be different now and make different choices now. Like, I don't pick fights the way I used to. I believed that my value at the time on CNN was, I'm going to bring on Tucker Carlson. He's a smart guy. He's practiced on what he is. I'm going to take him apart tonight. Not gratuitously, but I'm going to take him on his own basis. I want him at his best. Whatever his best argument is, let's have him on and let's get after it. I don't do that the same way anymore. And
because you're gun shy, or you
no, because it's not worth what it did to my family. But there's been a saving grace, which is what brings me here today to be with you. It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
You tearing me apart on any issue, not personally. Let's say it's just policy. You just kill me on immigration, okay? It doesn't move the needle. The people who believe me think you're an asshole. And the people who believe you think that I'm an idiot who shouldn't be listened to. And that's it. It doesn't change any minds. It doesn't change any minds.
It's true.
The only thing that can change minds is to change your audience to critical thinkers and people who are open. They're not lemmings. They're not sheeple. They're not party people. They're independent. They're free agents. They're critical thinkers. And to have conversations that are uncomfortable.
So how could you possibly be upset about being fired? I mean, this sounds like, it's not flattery, it's sincere. That sounds like a much more enlightened view of the world, a truer view of the world than the view that cable news encourages. That's a good thing, isn't it?
Look, again, bad things happen. You get an opportunity what to do with them. I'm choosing to try to create a better professional mode for myself. But I can't look at what happened to me and not see injury. Now, do I have the ability to say, Chris, I'll show you injury. Injury is falling off a crane. Injury is getting cancer. Injury is not being able to feed your family. True. I am ridiculously blessed. I never think otherwise. My father would haunt me if I did. I know that for a fact. But I had a platform, a position at a place where there was incredible reach. And I was able to weigh in on whatever mattered in the world and get an audience that was unfathomable to me before I was at CNN. And I lost that when I was fired, and I'll never get it back. Never. And my name right now is Chris Cuomo. I'm okay with that. Comma, fired by CNN. I accept that. That's a fact. Comma, for lying about what he did to help his brother. That is not true, and it cannot stand. And I cannot have my kids have to deal with that as a Google search of me. It's not true, and the people who said it know it's not true. So there's an injury.
You know, I always used to, maybe I'm the one who grew up in the mafia family, because I just don't see that.
I didn't grow up in a mafia family.
I'm just joking.
I just want to take your head and squeeze it.
No.
Is that wrong? Is that evil?
It's a little wrong. But I'll accept it. But I just don't, look, lying is bad. It's always bad. Lying is always bad. But doing whatever you can to help your family, again, it's just a hierarchy of loyalty. And anyone who tells you that you have, except to God, a higher loyalty than to your own family, that's your enemy. No, your loyalty is to your family, okay? Period. So I don't, you say you didn't lie. I actually completely believe you. But if I found out that you did lie, I wouldn't judge you. It's your brother. I mean, like, what?
I think it matters.
If your brother was on the run and he said, "Can you give me $500 for a
I'd give
fake
it to him.
passport?" In a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So, like, how is that a sin?
I don't know if it's a sin. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. I'm just telling you that's the way I am.
Yeah.
But
Good.
if
Well,
I
admire
had been
that.
if I had been lying, look, I apologized, okay? And this was really hard for me. I apologize all the time when you make repeated mistakes the way I do,
know what you
and you
mean.
lose your temper and you do stupid shit that you didn't mean to do. You wind up apologizing a lot if you're trying to get better. I apologized for what? For what I did? No. For helping my brother? No. Because I was told by my boss that people at CNN felt that they'd been compromised by what was coming out about what I was doing for my brother. That I never saw that coming. And if I had known at the beginning, and I offered to leave twice, if I knew at the beginning that it was going to be bad for the men and women who were working at CNN doing what they were doing, and I was going to compromise their ability to do it, I would have quit like that. If I had known
Can I
that.
just say, I don't know, how long did you spend at CNN?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years. So I didn't spend quite 10 years. So I spent a long time there. And the idea that they would have moral qualms about that at CNN is just not believable. I just don't believe that. I mean, they put on from Operation Tailwind when I was there to the Russiagate stuff, which was just factually untrue, to all kinds of other stuff. Like, they have no qualms about lying because I've seen it. They did when I worked there. And so I just don't believe that they were morally offended by a man helping his brother, and not even in ridiculous ways. Like, you weren't, you know what I mean? So I guess my question is, I'm used to seeing people taken out for political reasons. You're from one of the most famous Democratic Party families in the world. You're related by marriage to the Kennedys. Like, no one's doubting, right, what side you're on, at least by appearances. What was the real reason they took you out? I just don't believe that.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. The internet is crowded with interesting things that don't really matter. On TCN, we attempt to bring you interesting things that actually do matter, and a lot of them. Interviews, long form and short, videos, documentaries. You can find all of it on tuckercarlson.com, and we hope you will.